Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Chat, a series that has been on hiatus for a while. If you're new to the channel or haven't been around when the last Let's Chat was around, basically this is a very simple series in which I kind of just talk and voice opinions about a hot topic or an important topic that's personal to me or the channel or any relevancy there in between. I've talked about early access in the past, I've talked about all kinds of stuff, and this episode is being brought back mainly because it's kind of something important that's going around, and that is the Yogscast doing the Yogdiscovery program and the legitimacy and trustworthiness of YouTubers in general being brought upon by paid promotion for videos. And what does this all mean for us? What does it mean for consumers? This, that, and the other. But first, let's tackle what the Yogdiscovery program is. Essentially, breaking it down, it's a program in which the Yogscast cover a game, and they have a deal that for X amount of time after the video goes live, they get a small portion of the revenue from the game's sales for whatever time period that may be. It might be a week or 2 weeks after the video goes live. So any sales spikes or whatever that the Yogscast may or may not have on the game, they get X percent. And that percent, as far as I understand, can vary from developer to developer, publisher to publisher, and the length of time that deal is made is also up for debate. And there is talks that actually the Space Engineers game that they've been doing actually has a month-long deal with them to earn revenue off of that. And what's being brought up is again, the trustworthiness of YouTubers and what role we as YouTubers actually have in this whole industry. What do we do? What's our purpose? Are we to be trusted? This, that, and the other. And that's an interesting topic because I'm in two minds about this whole paid promotion thing. On the one hand, as long as the paid promotion is made very clear that this is actually being paid for, then you're in the clear. You're okay. Is it okay with the viewer? Well, that's up from viewer to viewer, but legally they are fine. They're not hiding anything. They can't be hiding anything. If the viewer decides, hey, I don't like that you're doing this, I'm not going to watch your stuff anymore, that's up to the viewer. But as far as legality is concerned, as long as it's made clear, they're in the clear. There's nothing they've done wrong. And that's fine, and I totally agree with that. I think paid promotion is, I guess, I don't want to say necessary evil, that's wrong, but I feel like it's okay so long as the YouTuber doing it has the right mindset. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. What's more interesting to me is how the Yogscasts are doing it. And I've listened to a lot of people talk about it so far. I've listened to Total Biscuit and so on, you know, voice their opinions on it, and they have very interesting ideas. And something that is talked about is that they're not getting paid like a lump sum. They're not like, here's money, make a video talking about our game, and make it a paid promotion, which is much more cut and dry, right? You're much more apt to understand that, hey, they got paid X amount of money and they made a video for it. It's in the description of the video, or he mentions it in the video, whatever, it's done. What's more muddy about what the Yogdiscovery thing is the idea that any sales generated thereafter the video are then directly impacting the amount of money that the Yogscasts are going to make. And it's tough because there is a difference, right? There is a difference between a lump sum payment and then royalties essentially thereafter the video. Because not only are they getting paid the ad impressions that they would normally get, but they're also getting extra revenue on the sales of the game itself. So with a lump sum of money, you're not as worried about the sale of the game thereafter. Sure, maybe when you're creating the video, you are, you know, wary about using bad language or dissing the game because, hey, they paid you, whatever. But that's when it's up to you, the YouTuber, whether or not you want to actually take that deal, right? I could tell you right now, I have had a handful of monetary availabilities from publishers. They've offered me money to create videos, and I've not taken a single one because the game or the developer, the publisher, I just don't trust. First off, primarily the reason is it's a game I've never played, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to like it. B, it's a game that I know I won't like because I have played it before. Or C, the developer has put up a restriction saying I have to use nice language, or I have to say this, or I have to put that. None of that feels good with me. None of it sits well with me. And there have been some decent options there for me to make a good chunk of cash. But me as a YouTuber, and especially as a growing and smaller YouTuber, A, I don't want to bring my legitimacy into question. I don't want to bring my character into question. B, I don't want to have that money looming over me. So those two things really prevent me from doing it. I don't want to be one of those people that's like publishers view as an ad tool, an advertisement tool, at least in the traditional sense, which is what they're doing. So with lump sums, though, and kind of getting back to what I was getting at, right? You have that, okay, they paid me, I'm making a video, it's done. For someone like Total Biscuit, you know, he always says, even if they paid him, he would always be, you know, completely honest about the game. But even if he's getting paid, it's very, very clear, and he rarely takes promotional opportunities. And when they do, it's for games he likes, like Guns of Icarus or Blood Bowl, and it's like a network-wide thing. Very rarely, if ever, I don't think he's ever taken things personally. And trust me, if I'm getting good amount of money offered, he's getting even more money offered to do these videos. But either way, when you're getting paid a lump sum, there's that it's done deal. You do it. It's cut and dry. With this whole royalties thing with the Yogdiscovery program, it's more interesting because even though the Yogscasts say they won't do it, you know, they'll still be honest, this, that, and the other, how much of that can you really trust? Because they're not getting paid, hey, here's $1,000, do a video for us. Their opinion of the game is going to directly impact the amount of money that they are making. See, they don't get paid and then they say their opinion. They are directly themselves impacting the amount of cash that they're going to make. So if you think for a second that they're not going to be remotely optimistic about a particular game that they're getting this deal for, then you're silly. And sure, they're going to disclaimer within the description of the video, hey, this is a paid thing. But I'm also of the mind that a lot of YouTubers don't read the description box. I can tell you right now, I very rarely read the description box of any of the videos that I watch. I just don't, even though I probably should. But they don't. So, and they get up to multiple millions of views per video. How many of those people watching actually read it? And how many are a younger audience as well? So those who watch the video are inherently going to trust the Yogscast, right? The Yogscast have built this character, have built this trust with their consumer, with their viewer base, and they are almost kind of cashing in on that in a weird way, in that they know that no matter what they say, there's going to be a percentage of their viewers that are going to take them on their face value, on their word, and go buy a game that they have said is good or that they're enjoying, and that is going to impact them. So if they were to say, hey, this game is bad or whatever, or they don't like it as much or it's okay, they are going to not make as much money as they would if they said something positive about the game. And that's really kind of muddy. It's really unfortunate. Do I think paid promotion is bad? No. But I also don't think it's something that should be taken lightly at the same time. Something that the viewer has to be aware of. Something that the viewer has to understand what they're doing. And it's really kind of a bizarre situation to put yourself in. You know, in this time where YouTube is on the rise and massively on the rise, and there are forums and stuff talking about how YouTube will eventually overthrow traditional media, now more than ever, I feel like it's important for the YouTubers' trustworthiness to be shown, that we can be trusted, especially if you're treating yourself as a media outlet or a viewer or some form of entertainment that is trying to give information on whether a game is good or bad. And if we're going to start muddying the waters this early, if we're going to start muddying the waters with like the idea that they will make more money if the game sells more, then we are very quickly going to bring that idea down. It's more important to me to build that trust between not only the viewers and the YouTubers, but the developers and the YouTubers. Nerd Cubed makes a very good point in that he feels like we're in this together, both developers and YouTubers, particularly indie devs. Because if I'm going to do a video on an indie game, which I believe the Yogdiscovery is mostly indie stuff, and I think it's almost exclusively indie stuff, actually. If I'm in this, you know, if I'm doing a video on an indie game, it's because I want the game to succeed, right? I don't need to get paid directly from the developer to make sure that their game succeeds. I want their game to succeed because it's a good game. I want their game to succeed because I want other people to play it, because I want them to see that this indie game is so worth the attention and time that the consumer should be picking it up, and all that time the developers put into it. The minute money starts to exchange hands, the minute I start making money off of the developer for making a video, then, you know, it gets called into question whether I'm trustworthy or not. And this is all very, very, very interesting, because now the idea of money exchanging hands dependent directly on the sales of the game is something that we need to consider. And with the Steam talking about players being able to open up a shop and, you know, sell games, and they get a portion of the revenue from that game, how trustworthy is any video on that game from that YouTuber? So, for instance, if I was able to open up a shop and I, you know, was like, hey, buy Project Zomboid through my shop, I get a portion of the revenue when it happens, you know, whatever. Now, how do you look at my Project Zomboid videos? Do you see it as something that I'm doing because I'm having fun, or do you see it as something that I'm doing because I'm making money off of it? Or is it somewhere in between? It's really difficult to kind of separate it, and I don't like it. For me, it makes me feel kind of dirty. For me, it makes me feel untrustworthy, and I don't know if this is a path I want to see YouTubers go down. Paid promotion, straight up lump sum, play Guns of Icarus. Am I okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. For some reason, that doesn't bother me. Again, what bothers me is the direct correlation between sales and cash. And the more that is sold, the more money I'm making, because then, more than ever, my opinion is being tainted, more so, in my opinion, than it would be if I was being paid a lump sum. That's assuming that I'm taking paid promotions in a lump sum for games that I don't like. That's the other thing. You have to trust the YouTuber to take paid promotions that they are for a game that they are enjoying without them being paid for it. I mean, that's Guns of Icarus. That's Blood Bowl for the Polaris people that they've played, because it's a game that they enjoyed. It's a game that they thoroughly enjoy, and being paid for is just icing on the cake for them, which is obvious. And you have to trust that the YouTuber themselves are only taking paid promotions for things that they feel okay taking. And that's the same for me. If that was not the case, I would have taken, rather, those deals that have been offered to me, those like handful of deals that have been offered to me, which I've never taken. Will I take paid promotions in the future? That's impossible to say. Is it going to be a game that I'm okay with? Is it a developer or a publisher that I'm okay with? Because if I say no, nothing changes on my channel. I am still the owner of my channel. The content is still the same content. Everything is still the same. It's just an interesting situation and a very interesting line that we're about to cross, and the integrity of our character, the integrity of what we do is being called into question, probably in an earlier point, and probably the best point of the YouTuber's development. Because now that we're growing, now that we're becoming a voice, people are going to scrutinize us. And those who feel like we're a threat are going to try and bring us down. And we have to make sure we're doing what's right and not doing what's wrong. Because the minute we lose the trust of the consumers and the viewers is the minute that we become irrelevant. And that's very scary. And I think that's something we need to think about. Hopefully, those who the Yogscast are going to be smart with the games they end up doing it with. But we, as viewers, don't know if it's true or not. We don't know if what they're saying isn't tainted by money. And it sucks, because I like the guys. I've watched a lot of their videos, and it's interesting to think that maybe, just maybe, greed is starting to get in the way of producing more honest videos. So I guess that's where I'm going to leave it off. I understand that it's a blurred line, and that it's difficult to say one way or another. I think what's the most important is the character of the YouTuber, like, and I mean character as in the level of trust you have in them, and to keep an eye out for paid promotions, and to make sure that you are reading the description to make sure something's not a paid promotion. For me, if I ever do something that's paid promotion, within the first few seconds I will mention it, and I will make it very clear within the description box that this is something that's paid. But I've never done one, and I will never do one unless I am 100% confident that it's a game I enjoy, and that I would do a video on one way or another. yeah, so this is a good conversation piece. I'm very curious what you guys think. I'm very curious what the comment section is going to be like, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about the whole situation. I will say I feel a little uncomfortable with it. I don't think it's inherently an evil thing, but I think it has the potential to be real bad. And it has the potential to be good. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed what I said, and I'm very curious to hear your comments. Drop them below. I will be going through them and hopefully responding to a good number of them, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What to do?
One shot, one kill. Push forward. I fight. We must cleanse the Sunwell. For the crusade! Is this really necessary?
What to do? Your soul shall suffer! You win. Win.